Yo, hello ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time you're watching this. We're back at it with another weekly markup, and this time I'm actually officially marking up all of my currencies that I trade, right? GBPUSD, GJUJ, USDCAD, and NZDCAD. The USDCAD buys that we were holding last week, they already took us out, and the thing is, price came back, took us out exactly where we had the buys, and it flew right back up, which we're gonna go over right now. But let's start it on GU, so you can pause it and read it. Monthly bullish, weekly bullish, starting bearish, daily bearish, H4, H1 bearish. So now let's go into the chart. As always, you always want to start your top-down analysis from the monthly. Even if you only scalp, right, you still want to know the overall direction of the market. It's early right now. I'm gonna take a little sip of coffee, right, and then some water. All right, let's get it. So price still overall bullish on GBPUSD on the monthly, right? Higher low above 121. This previous area of demand got respected here, and then when we start zooming in, you can see previous area of supply, bullish engulfing candle, and then that came and gives us a retest, and then we have another bullish engulfing candle, and then we can that bullish engulfing candle gives us a push all the way to 137. And this is 137. We've been bouncing off of both of these zones, 131,500 and 137. You can see we came back to 137, 131,500, which obviously was previous area of supply, turned into new demand. We went all the way back up to 137, and then we came back down all the way to 135 again, and then now we hedged the on the month of, I was gonna say 2 months ago, but it's actually just 1 month ago. On the month of December, we closed with the bullish engulfing candle back above 134, and the previous candle was bullish, but we failed to break above 137, right? So right now we're rejecting below 137. We're still bullish because price could literally just come to 134, create a higher low, and continue maybe to 142. So the monthly is still bullish. Now on the weekly, we are bullish, turning bearish. Obviously we are bullish because bullish engulfing candle above 131,500. It failed to keep on breaking lows. If price was really bearish, it would have continued selling here. It didn't. Bullish engulfing candle, then we have a bullish engulfing candle, and we have a higher low above 134, but we do not have a bullish engulfing candle above 137, as you can see. So now we have a rejection candle below 137, which obviously was previous area of supply. And look at this candle right here. We have a bearish candle close, bearish engulfing close below 137, and that's as long as price stays below 137, we could definitely see the push back down to 134, and that could definitely be a nice push. I mean, 200 pips. 200 pips is a good chunk. Now we hop into the daily. The daily, we're already bearish. It failed to keep on breaking highs above 139, as you can see. We have your top of the range here, and then the top of the range and the bottom of the range, they lead to each other. So now this is the new bottom of the range. So now I do expect price to melt at least to 134, right? But we still have to look for our sell opportunity. You can't just enter here on a sell as soon as the market opens, because where are you gonna put your stop loss? For me, I would have wanted my stop loss here, but that's a huge stop loss, right? So now we have to wait for, I actually think that we might have a pullback. And actually, we are going to the 4 hour right now. Yep, I had already marked up. So this is what I was looking for yesterday. So you can see price tested the previous area of demand, which shout out to Hold Vision, by the way. He's a YouTuber on Forex, and he taught me a lot about price action, mainly liquidity, right? And there's obviously liquidity here. Why? Because there's sellers here active, and price has not, I mean, the market has not came back, or price has not came back and took them out. And we also have a previous area of supply right here, strong. Why is it strong? Because obviously price has not came and tested it, And not only that, but it's also a key level 137. So things are adding up. And also, to add more confluence, a previous area of demand is being tested and currently respected. So actually even though we're still bearish on the 4-hour, because I wouldn't say we're bullish till we have a bullish engulfing candle and we have a higher low above 137. So this could still be a lower high, and we could have a potential entry here to target 134, right? But then price still has to respect this previous area of supply, and we would be stopping out all of these little mini sellers, and then that would be creating more buyers, and that would be buyers liquidity, and now we would be coming to stop out. After we come back to stop out, after we first come stop out the sellers, then we would be coming back down to stop out the buyers, right? But this zone has to be respected. If it's not respected, this is gonna happen, right? If it's not respected for sales, it's gonna be respected for buys, and then this won't happen. We can only buy or sell. We just have to wait for price to get to the zone. And actually, let me just set my alert. I'm gonna even set it. I'm gonna even set it here, right below 137. So there you go. My alert is done. Now on to the next. Let's go to GBPJPY. Oh man, what happened? Here we go. GBPJPY. Wait, what is it? I'm trying to move it. Alright, here we go. GBPJPY. Monthly bullish, weekly bullish, turning bearish, daily bearish, H4 is 1 bearish. GJ. So you always want to get into the start off from the monthly, right? From the overall monthly, we're bullish, and all right. I was just having trouble with my freaking mouse, bro. It's not working. I'm trying to move my mouse. All right, there it is. Because I'm using my touchpad, and then I'm also using the mouse, as you can see. So now, on the monthly, we're overall bullish. Price failed to keep on breaking lows below 180. And then we also have a monthly bullish trend being respected. Previous area of strong supply, we broke back above it, bullish engulfing candle, and we bullish engulfing candle, and we have a higher low above it as well. And then we have a previous strong area of supply as well here that gave us this push all the way down to 180, and that was 208. Price bullish engulfing that zone, and we're right above it right now, as you can see. So the monthly, we're still bullish based off what we do at this zone at 208. On the weekly, I believe the weekly bullish turning bearish, and we're turning bearish because price did not keep on breaking highs above 214,500, right? Now obviously previous area supply is currently being tested. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna I'm sorry, my mistake. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna test it and continue pushing to the upside, or we're gonna break below it, create a lower high, and continue to the downside? This is one of those levels where we have to be really on it for this week. And on the daily, literally we're already kind of having a push off of it. So maybe we could actually continue the buys off of 208, right? And the daily we're bearish, but we could potentially flip bullish just off of this test, because obviously this is where I would have had my TP if I was in sales here. And these sales, we talked about them last week, but I totally missed them. The entry was so late, and most of it happened during London session. For example, like here was the entry, and I believe this one was during Sunday. Oh no, this was on Wednesday. This would have been the best entry right here. And the second entry, that was on Sunday. Yep. And then here, price gave you another entry on Monday, and then boom, on the full meltdown. You actually had even another entry here below the zone. Reserve applying to catch the rest. And look how now we're kind of creating liquidity here. So now we might actually start getting ready for buys, but this is still looking very bearish. You will still want some maybe something like this, a bullish engulfing candle, and then we could come and test to create a higher low, and then we can have the push, or maybe we can have something off of here where we start looking weaker, and then we have the push, something like that. But this strong push, we're definitely gonna have another strong push here. Watch, we're just slowly creating the liquidity. Bearish, but we're waiting. Now on to the next USDJPY. You could pause it and read it. Monthly bullish turning bearish, weekly bullish turning bearish, daily bearish, each for each one bearish. USDJPY, very similar to GJ. Overall bullish, as you can see. Bullish engulfing candle and a huge higher low above 127. Support respected above 14500. We have a monthly bullish engulfing candle above 151, which was a pretty strong area of supply. And then we hop into the weekly. So overall on the monthly we're still bullish, because actually bullish turning bearish, because once price tests 151, we're gonna see what price does. Are we gonna test it at demand, or we're gonna break it and test it at supply? So it happens to the weekly now. You could already see on the weekly, previous area of supply, pretty strong, and got tested and respected. Price failed to keep on breaking highs above 158,500, and then look, weekly bearish engulfing candle and the high and the lower high, and price is melting all the way to 151. It's my target. And then on the daily we're bearish. Price failed to keep on breaking highs above 158,500. Huge bearish engulfing candle, huge lower high, retest. I mean, this was a clean entry right here for sales. Target already hit. Man, I missed out on a shit ton of trades last week. Perfectly good trades, the GJ, UJ, UCAD, the UCAD, because we're gonna go over right now, but USDCAD came back and stopped me out of my entry, and I could have gotten back in because it was an H4 impulse within the range, shot a hold. But this looks like it's still gonna melt all the way to 151, and then at 151 we're possibly gonna have a potential trade, something like this, like I said, or the break below and the continuation to the downside. That's how we could do either buy or sell. And then on the 4 hour, basically the same thing. The 4 hour, we were kind of looking bullish here, because obviously we do have a impulse within the range here on the 4 hour, very similar to GJ, but then we didn't have any strength over here. If price was really bullish, it would have bought already here. And look at what it's doing. It's coming already back down. It's not showing any strength, any bullish strength, that is. What it is showing bearish strength. So now, and obviously there's stop losses here below, so price, I do believe, is going to come back for those stop losses. Maybe come really test all the way to 151, and then at 151 we might have the test or the break below again to continue selling. So now that was already on the 4 hour. Let's get into USDCAD. Finally, USDCAD monthly bearish, weekly bearish, daily bearish turning bullish, each war is your own bullish. And all right, so I haven't charted USDCAD since 2 weeks, because I was in the trade holding for 2 weeks. It was 2 different trades both times that I was holding USDCAD. So we're on the monthly. The monthly, you can see previous supply respected below 147, and then if we start closing in on price, you can see we did have a bullish trend, and I really thought price was turning bullish because the trend got respected, and we had a bullish engulfing candle above 139, which is obviously a previous area of supply and a previous area of demand, previous area of supply. But then again, price did fail to break over 147, and we did have a huge bearish engulfing candle below 139, and right after we broke below 139 again, we have another huge bearish engulfing candle below 139 again. But now we're testing another zone right here, a previous area of demand, which is 135,500. And then we hop into the weekly. The weekly were bearish as well, bearish engulfing candle and a lower high below 139. And right now we're having the reaction off of 135,500, but we're still bearish. Right now we're kind of looking for either the push and the test and the push back up, or the break below the lower high and the push back down. Then on the daily, it's bearish turning bullish because yes, we do have lower highs and bearish engulfing candles below 139, but look at this. Price failed to keep on breaking lows below 135,500. It had already started pushing up to the upside, respected previous area of supply, which also this was another entry for sales, and came back down low, tested a previous area of input within the range, which is where I had my entry. Right now we're going to go into on the 4 hour, and now look, created a high low on the daily, and now it looks like it's going to push all the way back up to 139, and that is about 280 pips. So now we hop into the 4 hour. You can see on the 4 hour, this is exactly where I had my entry on those previous USDCAD longs from the last trade that I took the last month, right? Price came back, stopped me out right at that input within the range. And all inputs within the range is either a strong push to the upside or a strong push to the downside that has not been tested, right? So this is a really strong push to the upside, but one key thing about it, and that strong push to the upside has to break structure. So look at this. It broke 1, 2, 3 highs, right? And it had not been tested. So what did price do? Price came back, tested it perfectly, and this was my first. I should have known this, bro. I get into these trades all the time. I could have literally put a buy limit on this. And price came back, stopped me out. Instant reaction. That's the thing about the inputs within the range trades. Shout out to Hole, by the way. He's the one that taught me this. I believe he goes by Visionary Profits on YouTube, right? He taught me a lot about price action, and he said for the inputs within the range trade to be correct, when price does the first test of the strong zone, it has to be an instant reaction. And look at this, instant reaction. So the entry position could have been here, stop loss below here, and TP is this, which has obviously still not been hit. So now I'm already still seeing buys for this being the first target, right? So now what I'm also seeing is price could maybe come back down to test 135,100 and stopping out people who are already in these buys, right? Maybe not all the way down here, but maybe just to 135,100, and that could give us a potential re-entry. And now our stop loss will be below this low instead of this low, but we still have to wait. So actually, let me even send an alert here, because if we do come back down, where it's because we're stopping. I should have to clear some alerts. I'll clear them out right now, but that's what I'm looking for on USDCAD. Last but not least, wait, that was already on the 4 hour. Yep, that was already on the 4 hour. Last but not least, NZDCAD. You can pause it and read it. Monthly bullish, weekly bullish, daily bullish, H4, H1 bullish. And here we go. So let's go into the monthly. In the monthly, we were bearish, but then again, price failed to keep on breaking lows below 0.78,500. And look at this, monthly bullish engulfing candle back above 0.80. And 0.80 is an important zone because previous area of demand, previous area of demand, previous area of demand, previous area of supply, previous area of supply. 0.80 has been a really strong zone. And obviously, look at this bullish engulfing candle. Where is the next zone? The next zone that we have on the monthly is 0.83. And why is it a strong zone? And we have to the weekly. You can see previously in the past it has been a pretty strong area of supply. Now you could call it a resistance zone, right? But we have strong supply here. Price came back, tested it, strong supply, and then it started turning into a resistance zone. But now we're looking like we're already on the way back up there, right? Weekly double bottom above 48, above 0.78,500. Weekly bullish engulfing candle above 0.80, and we have a higher low above this previous area of supply as well, which turned into new demand, which happens to be above 0.81,500. Now price literally looks like it's on the way to 0.83. Very simple. On the daily, you can see this previous area of supply, H4 bullish engulfing candle, and we had the initial push, and then we had the retest, and the retest respected the demand, right? So we were still bullish because price here could have given us another entry if buys weren't valid here no more. It would have broken below here, giving you the lower high, and boom, first target would have been 0.80, which is something that could still happen after we test 0.83, right? Because we could come test 0.83, And if we don't break in bullish engulf and create a higher low, what are we going to do? We're going to test it and create a lower high and melt back down. And the first target would actually be this previous area of supply. So starts from here, TPing here, and then once price hits here, we could even secure most of it and let the rest run if it decides to run all the way back down. But now I'm still seeing price hitting 0.83. It happened to the 4 hour. I remember I wrote a weak resistance here. Why? Because if you could see, overall bullish, previous area of supply, we tested it again. This kind of looked like a head, shoulder, but then again, you got to remember, we're overall bullish. This head and shoulder pattern would have been way better if it was, say, down here, or if we were already bearish. So you want to look for this head and shoulder pattern when we're bearish, not when we're bullish. And why is that? Because look at this. Yes, we do have the shoulder, and yes, I mean, actually, if you would have gotten into the trade here, you would have still caught 55 pips, right? If you would have gotten a good entry, this trade would have been, it would have still have been profitable. It would not have been right, but it would have been profitable. That has happened to me many times where I have not been right on the trade or on the direction, but I got lucky and the trade was profitable. And I happened to close, let's say 20 pips or 30 pips, and let the rest run risk free. And what does price do? Came back, takes me out, and if I wouldn't have done that, it would have hit stop loss. But sometimes that's gonna happen, and sometimes you're gonna hold your trades and you think that it's the best analysis ever, and it's gonna hit stop loss, right? The same thing. So price did look like a head and shoulders, head, shoulder, but look here, it failed to keep on breaking lows, right? What is this? A higher low. And then price came back, tested the zone again, and what did it do? It created another higher low. And now price came back to test the zone one more time, and it's right below the zone. Now I'm seeing another higher low for a price to continue bullish. Maybe we're gonna come stop out these sellers here. The people that are thinking that it's a resistance. We're still overall bullish. Still, our bias has not changed. I would not change out the bullish bias until we break below this area, this zone right here, which is obviously the previous area of strong supply. Right, previous area of strong supply and demand. So we have to wait. We're still overall bullish. I do see this weak resistance getting cleared and us coming to test 0.83. Very possible setup, right? That was on the 4 hour. Peace and love to anybody watching this. I command you have wealth, knowledge, wisdom for you and your entire family. Back to work.